Headlines most affecting Chilliwack this week. A delay in the memorial for Dan Coulter. There's a concern over the fate of a local Ukrainian church. A rebrand for Chilliwack Hospice, and the BC Police Curling Championship coming to Chilliwack. Alex will have more in sports. Our guests this week include Sue Knott from Chilliwack Hospice and Dale Hockley with the BC Police Curling Championship. Hurry hard! All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. Former MLA Dan Coulter passed away at the beginning of December after a massive cardiac failure. A private celebration of life was held in Langley. A public ceremony was hoped to be happening on January 11th this weekend, but the location was not available. Family have said that a public ceremony will be held when a facility becomes available. St. Demetrius Ukrainian Orthodox Church has been behind a construction fence for quite some time. There are concerns the church may be facing the wrecking ball. The concerns that have been posted to social media range from the congregation not being brought up to date on the fate of the building, as well as potential repair costs, and that would be if fundraising were successful for renovation. In particular, the roof is leaking, along with other modern upgrades that are needed. The church on the corner of Victor and Cleveland has been part of the Chilliwack scene since the 40s. Now, this is a developing story that chillTV will continue to follow. BC Transit changes to the transit system took effect this week, so they range from everything of the expansion of daytime and weekend service to the frequency of the 66, the FVX, the Fraser Valley Express. Go to BC Transit online for the changes that affect your commute. Renters might be eligible for support through the renter's tax credit, so in 2025, income thresholds are increasing for this credit. Renters can now claim as much as $400 a year off their taxes if their adjusted income is $63,000 or less, or a partial credit for an adjusted income as much as $83,000. Most homeowners can get a grant to reduce the amount of property tax they pay. To start the new year, BC now adjusting the property value threshold, so the homeowner grant continues to cover about 92% for homeowners. Social media lit up last Friday after a posting regarding somebody in a vest from BC Children's Hospital going door to door in Eriksson and canvassing for donations for the kids' hospital. So was this all legitimate? Well, first of all, if you don't feel comfortable opening a door, don't. You can always donate through the website. However, Dan Enjo, the communications officer for the Provincial Health Services Authority, sent a clarification note to chillTV saying yes, canvassers are out there. They do wear visible vests. They do carry ID, and they've been doing this for years. January 2nd saw the first flurries for the city of Chilliwack, and the timing rather appropriate as city operations teams have installed about 3,900 meters of snow fencing around the city so far this year. Now, the long-range forecast only calls for a few flurries. Cari will have more in weather in just a few minutes' time. Chilliwack Hospice is going through a rebrand. Their new logo, color palette, and the font encapsulating, quote, the heart of who they are and the mission to serve the Chilliwack community. Executive Director Sue Knott will be here with more on this rebrand. So coming up, our interviews with Sue Knott from Chilliwack Hospice and Dale Hockley with the BC Police Curling Championship, which means Alex will have sports in a moment. This week continues as we are looking at something that's new and exciting for the Chilliwack Hospice. Sue Knott, who is the executive director, is with us. And with hospice, a rebrand and a reconstructing, and a lot of stuff happening. So what is this all about?
Well, we've had our same logo for a really, really long time. And through that time, we've really evolved to an organization. The Chilliwack Hospice Society really does a lot of grief work. We also support palliative patients. We do a lot of education. So we've become so much more than what we were. So we wanted to look at a rebrand, and it's a beautiful logo. It's in a great kind of teal color, which is very calming. It represents calm and peace and all sorts of things. And we have two arches, and one arch represents our staff who support and walk alongside clients that are going on their grief journey. And the other arch represents the client. And you can see that in the beginning, the client is really suffering from grief, and their presence becomes a lot bigger in the picture, and then we sort of fade away. And our whole ambition in life is to walk alongside people and get them to a place where the grief will always be there. You'll always miss someone. That's the price of loving someone. But the reality is that our work helps them remember them with love and fondness, but still go on with their lives and learn to be happy again. So
something that, and it's an annual thing that happened just about a month ago, and it was actually downstairs at the Vineyard here. We're upstairs in our studio, and the different programs that hospice has, from losing a spouse, a loved one, your family dog, dealing with suicide, and various different levels. And again, over the years, you've had to, I wouldn't say catch up, but you've had all these responsibilities, and you've been able to maneuver and get these programs together. That's a lot of work.
There's not a lot of counselors or organizations out there that really focus completely on dealing with death and grief, and it's kind of a tricky thing to help walk people through that. And over the years, our focus has changed a lot because the world has changed. So there's a lot more suicides, there's murders, there's all sorts of things going on, and every time something like that happens, I see that in the news, I know that there's a whole family. There's kids, there's parents, there's people all around that situation who now are going to have to deal with what's happened. So it's not only, in a case of a murder, trying to catch the guy who killed someone, it's trying to help the people through it that have gone through that. So we also provide a lot more education than we used to. We do a lot of advanced care planning. We deal very professionally, I think, with the things that cause grief and hurt our hearts. And so that's very much why we wanted to look at a new logo, because we wanted to raise our presence in the community and let people know that what we do is very unique, it's very powerful, it's very confidential, and we're definitely there for people in the community that are suffering from grief. The other thing is that underneath the logo, it now says a Center for Grief Support, which it never said that before.
Right.
People always associated us only with Cascade Hospice, where people go to die. And that is something that we do. We go there, we provide volunteers there. We don't own or operate that organization. We are completely separate from them, but we do provide all the volunteers and the support there. But the main part of what we do is in the society, is at our location on Vetter, where we have groups, we have one-to-ones, we deal with little kids, 4 years old.
Wanted to touch on that. Yeah, it's not just the adults.
No, it's not the kids that are left behind. In some cases, the kids have gone through something where they've witnessed something terrible happening to their parent. And so we have two really excellent grief support managers that deal with just the child and youth program. They work in the schools. They do a teen mentoring program. They also work with teen grief groups. We go into the schools, say there's a suicide or a car accident or something horrible that happens in the schools. We actually go in and work directly with the kids that were close to that person and kind of try and help them right in the school system. So we have a lot of partners in the community that you would never know that the Hospice Society is involved with. But so yeah, we're very excited about the new logo. And of course, the colors match my office, which was not an accident. No, it actually...
You might notice the ensemble today.
It actually had nothing to do with my office colors, but I have to say I was very delighted. My new business cards look beautiful in there.
I love it. And the thrift store, bit of a rebrand there as well?
Well, yes. Yeah. The Thrifty Boutique is really a driving force behind everything we do. We get... well over 70% of our revenue to run the society. We have a lot of really great donors in the community, but we have grown to such an extent that if it wasn't for the Thrifty Boutique, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. So yes, please support them. Please donate there. Please shop there. And yes, they are also getting a rebrand that will be unveiled in its full glory and beauty in a little while.
Okay.
But lots to see there, and business is booming, and you know, our volunteers are so dedicated. We have a huge volunteer staff there that love coming to work, and it's a great place to volunteer if anybody's thinking of volunteering. But yeah, it's a pretty amazing organization. We've gone from being in a tiny house on Hodgins to now we have our own building. We have this huge thrifty boutique store. And yeah, we're quite a going concern these days.
And easy to find information on social media, the website.
Everywhere. We have a fabulous marketing manager, Desmond Devnich, who has us everywhere. So I can't say enough about all the good work that he is doing. So I challenge you to not see us. We are there everywhere.
Sue Knott, Executive Director, Chilliwack Hospice, thanks for coming by.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're watching This Week.
Hey Chilliwack, here's your sports this week. Starting with curling. Hosted by the Chilliwack Curling Club, the 2025 BC Mixed Doubles Curling Championship was won by Team CJ Jackson and Matthew McGrady. They are now qualified for the 2025 Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship from March 16th to 21st in Summerside, PEI. The BC Police Curling Championship will be at the Chilliwack Curling Rink from February 21st to 23rd. Entry fee is $200 for non-competitive and $500 for the competitive side. One of the organizers, Dale Hockley, will join us in a few minutes to talk about the tournament. There is something distinctly Canadian about the whole thing, eh? Over to speed. The sports stock car racing is now the Winter's Whirlwind Race at Merritt Speedway on February 1st. It is free admission. Go to the Merritt Speedway social media for more information. Registration for the Chiacton FC Spring Soccer opened this week. All details are on the TFC social media. And the Chilliwack Chiefs continue to lead the Coastal Conference in the BCHL. This is in spite of an opinion piece that stated the Chiefs lost 5 players to the CHL clubs after the rules over NCAA eligibility was changed. And this happening as the Chiefs announced their spring ID camp is set for May. So if you think you have what it takes to play for the big club, the camp is open to AAA, Academy, and Zone level players born between 2005 and 2009. And finally, UFV Cascades basketball and volleyball get back to the floor after the Christmas break. The men and women's basketball teams have home games against UNBC and TRU this weekend. The men's volleyball teams is in Calgary to take on MacEwan University. GoCascades.ca for the schedule and tickets. Coming up, our interview with Dale Hockley, and then Cari with the weather.
chillTV weekend weather. So, Cari, any real snow in the forecast?
Our weather for Friday and Saturday, 30% chance of showers with mainly cloudy periods, but things are looking up for Sunday. Sunday and the rest of the week, we're calling for sun with the occasional cloudy period, and temperatures are going to feel like around 10 degrees. So that's amazing for January, I think. Here's another fun fact about January. If you're going to get separated or divorced, chances are it's going to happen in January. Just goes to show you that those holidays can be a little bit more stressful than you think. Happy New Year, everybody, and back to you, Don.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, you can always send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. I'm Don Lehn.